Hello, welcome to Playing Favorites. I'm Justin.
I'm Paul. Hello, Justin.
So I'm here to tell Paul a story. I'm dressed up in my Star Wars garb. So this is a new thing we wanted to start to do is if you haven't been with us before, we tend to talk about movies, video games, but you probably know me really well. I'm really big into Star Wars, as you can see up. If you're on my YouTube, I'm going to show our collection right above my head there. So I got all the books up there and everything. So, but I'm going to talk about one of my favorite Legends Star Wars book, I Jedi. You know nothing about
Who's
this,
this
right?
by? I know, yeah, I know about the title. That's about as much as I know. I know that there was a book called I Jedi.
So it's
Um,
by Michael A. Stackpole. He's the one that wrote the X-wing books.
oh, that's a recognizable name.
Yeah, he's right. He's written other
Uh,
ones. I've met him
yeah.
before, which was odd. I can go over that a little bit too, in brief moment. But I read this book back in middle school, high school area when I read a lot of these Legends books, and I haven't really done that a while. Like reread a book that I read that long ago in such a
Yeah.
different time in my life. You know, like you just reading this. Well, first off, listening to this book because I did the audio book. It's the modern version of it, so they
Mhm.
recorded everything using. I think
Okay.
who you're familiar with. I think you've listened to some of the High Republic books. I think it's the same actor that did this one as well. So
Yes,
um,
he's good. He's
yeah,
really good.
I should get his name. I should used to know it. I don't know. But anyways, so I've been wanting to go through this book again. I saw it in the audio in the library audio section. Like, man, I should just listen to this and see what it's like to go through it. But Michael Stackpole wrote all the X-wing books, which is where the character Corran Horn, who is the star of this book, was pretty much created. He was made
Okay.
for the X-wing series. Uh, there's four of those books that kind of star Corran, and you learn about him and so forth like that. And he became one of my favorite characters in the Legends, just canon, the Legend canon or expanded universe, the EU series. So I thought we could share my experience of reliving it, and kind of like the perspective of reading it as an adult versus reading it as a
Yeah.
middle schooler, because it kind of hit a little differently than when I was a kid. You know, I just like Corran
Yeah.
Horn. I like the concept of it, and I think this could add to a conversation with you because I know your opinions on the modern day storytelling of Star Wars. We did a show about Andor. I know you really like that, but I
Yes.
think after rereading this would be a good. I don't say you have to copy it by any means, but like just the way they take a story of a Jedi is in the way they handle it is just so unique and different than anything you've seen in any other medium. To be quite honest,
Okay. Well, now you
um,
have me intrigued. I
so
know you've been into this dude for quite a while.
I cosplay as him. He's who I usually go to the Star Wars
Yes.
conventions as.
Yes,
Um,
that was the first time I remember you hearing about somebody going to a Star Wars convention was you, dressed as Corran Horn.
yep. Or Kieran Halcyon is his other name in this book. Um,
You had a yes, you had the goatee back then. Just you, I think you grew something special for the part or something.
Yeah,
You had a beard.
he has a goatee. So like
Mhm.
he gets the goatee in this book. He usually is clean shaven. But
He gets it.
anyways, my story with Michael Stackpole really quick. So I went to Dragon Con many years ago. I would say probably what 11, 10, 10, probably 10 because close to my older daughter was pretty much a year old. So 10 years ago. And I got to meet him. I got to go to a panel with him. I think Kevin J. Anderson was there,
Oh,
which is a big part of this book
he's a
too.
big
By the way,
name.
he's connected to this book in a way. And I think what's his name? Oh my God, Jesus, Timothy Zahn was in that panel as
Okay,
well. So
yeah.
there was a big good group
Trilogy writers.
of authors that I kind of revered and obviously was nostalgic to meet. And I I got to go up dressed as Cornhorn and ask the last question of the panel, which was like already getting a little like on edge a little bit. I could tell because it was right after they announced that Disney was getting rid of the canon EU as being canon. They just had
Oh,
announced that, so that was a very big bulk of the questioning was that whole thing. So like
Yeah.
I thought I had this really interesting question, and I was the last one up, so I kind of like I think I got a little pressured into like the way I maybe delivered it, and I was just like gonna ask him like what I loved your character Corin Horn. What other stories were you thinking of doing for him? And he's like, well, if Disney wants to let us write more, well, he got like all like kind of I
Oh,
obviously
yeah.
like so I was
Yeah,
always
yeah, not really thinking about that.
but
Yeah.
I mean I didn't I didn't hold it against him. Whatever. I could tell like it was kind of a weird thing. I probably would have I asked,
You're
but
asking a legit question, though. That's what those cons are for, not
I
to talk
know.
about Disney and
Yeah,
mergers.
I don't remember
But
his
I
exact
mean, I
response,
understand, like,
but he
I
was just like,
understand
well,
it
because I
was a
think the
difficult time.
point was that he had already kind of answered the question in other questions that kind of were like maybe not as connected to specifically Corn Horn, but it was still the same answer. But anyways, I love still Michael Stackpole. I love his writing. I love the way he handles dog fights, and the way his sense of humor is really good in these books too. I've always enjoyed that. Like it's just he handles writing Wedge like phenomenal. But what was always great with his books, specifically back in the early days of Legends, was that he was really the only one that would write books that didn't always focus on Luke or Leia or Han.
Yes.
Like they would
Okay, okay.
appear, they would show up, they were known, and I mean, if anything, this is probably one of the more prominent books that Luke is in. Is this one here? The X-wing books, like he's doing other things, like he's like his own
Sure.
little world. And the gist of this one, to read the synopsis, because I think that's going to help us with our conversations. I was figured I'd just read the back of this to show you what the book is about.
Okay.
New York Times bestselling author Michael A. Stackpole presents a stirring new tale set in the Star Wars universe, the dramatic story of a heroic X-wing pilot on the razor's edge between the fourth on the razor's edge between the Force and the dark side. I Jedi.
Hmm.
Corran Horn has distinguished himself as one of the best and brightest of Rogue Squadron's elite fighting force. Then his wife, Mirix, vanishes on a covert mission for the New Republic, and Corran Horn vows to find her. To do so, he knows he must develop the latent force powers inherited from his grandfather, the legendary Jedi hero. He joins Luke Skywalker's famed Jedi Academy to begin training, only to quit in frustration at Skywalker's methods. Now Corran is on his own, using his Corellian undercover experience. He must infiltrate, sabotage, and destroy a ruthless organization in order to find his wife. But to succeed, Corran will have to come to terms with his Jedi heritage and make a terrible choice: surrender to the dark side or die. So that's the sense of the book.
Okay. Interesting, the Jedi heritage stuff. Like, it's if your father had it, then you will have it.
I mean, that was a big
Like,
thing
that
with
kind
the
of like
EU stuff. I mean, that's kind of because they're
yeah.
basing it
I
on.
it's funny hearing it again, though. It's been a long time since I yeah, the heritage of the Jedi. And he's a rogue Jedi.
Yes.
He's out there on his own. He just like leaves the academy. He's a danger to himself and others.
Yeah, so the gist of the book is Corran in the X-wing books. He learns that he's part Jedi because it was hidden. It was kept secret to him his whole life. His grandfather, who you meet in the book, isn't his real grandfather. So like he was taken his father was taken in as a baby because his grandfather, his father's father, died on like a Jedi mission. And this is before obviously we
Alright.
even knew about the prequels or anything stuff. So like his take
Yeah.
on what the Jedi were, he kind of skirts around it by saying the Corellian Jedi are just they were just different. Like they didn't really do what other Jedi did, so he kind of like skirted it a little bit because like it was hard to write prequel stuff. You had to like write it in
Hmm.
weird ways
Yes.
because back
Yep.
then
Because nothing was
they kind of made it so you couldn't really talk too much about that era as often within the
yep.
writing. So um the really so he learns about his heritage, but then he kind of just tells Luke he doesn't want to really do anything with it. He likes being in Rogue Squadron. He grew up as like kind of a police like detective in Corellia. Like he was part of Corsac. So that was his whole life until some other things happen. I'm not going to go over the whole backstory of Corrin, but pretty much he joins the rebellion, helps. He's part of the task force in Rogue Squadron that pretty much takes back Coruscant. Like the whole 4 book X-wing series about him retaking Coruscant back from the Empire. That's like the whole gist of
Really?
it. Yeah, against like
Oh,
an admiral and all that stuff. It's such a freaking awesome story. You learn some because you got like Wedge in there, Corrin obviously, and other X-wing pilots are involved, and it's just about it's like an infiltration mission and kind of like figuring out how to like get into Coruscant to like do this like just to take it over. I'm not going to go over the whole X-wing thing. Maybe we'll do that a different time. But this is way later after the whole cloned emperor thing that happens, and they're just kind of like
oh,
because that was a thing obviously in Legends.
which book was that? The
That was
with the clone?
that's Dark Empire. That's the comic book.
That's right. For some reason, I was thinking the Dark Crystal. No, the
No,
Dark
Dark Crystal's
Empire.
horrible. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's that we will probably never
it's
talk
Jim
about that.
Henson thing.
Um, there is a Crystal Star book. If that's what you're thinking of. Crystal Star is a book, and that's like my least favorite Star Wars book.
It's all bad.
But this book takes place kind of after that, and pretty much they're just dealing with like just remnant Imperials, and then there's like a pirate organization. But the gist of this book is he comes back from mission, his wife is just gone, and all of a sudden he
Yeah.
just starts getting this feeling that she's just no, she's like they obviously have a really good connection and deep connection, and he just feels her just missing, and just like he starts going through trauma and like almost forgets her, doesn't register like the things in the apartment, like he goes through like a forced trauma thing, so he has to go to
Oh,
Luke to get like help to kind of figure out how to handle this whole thing. And the gist of it is they think that what happened is that she was taken by this organization that she was trying to infiltrate to get information on, and they found out that she was connected to a Jedi because she was wearing one of the like this like medallion that represent that he's from a family of Jedi. She was wearing it
oh,
in honor of
the
him,
thing
like
from A New Hope, right? The medals from A New Hope. That's
yes,
it.
like sure, like
He
that.
was wearing one.
Not
Even
that.
he got one, and Chewbacca didn't get
No,
one.
not that kind of a medal.
Messed up.
But anyways, so they think that well maybe that she's just hidden somewhere, and Luke kind of convinces him, "Hey, I'm starting this academy, the Jedi Academy books that Kevin J. Anderson wrote. You should join my academy. You should come learn how to use the Force. Because how else are you going to go save your wife if you don't
Sure.
have the Force? Because that that makes sense." And he had no leads. He had nowhere to
Or to
go
save your wife.
because he's the only one that could sense her or maybe feel her, or he had no, because this what we found out is and if I'm going too fast, just cut me off. I get
Well,
excited.
no, it just sounds like Palpatine's plot when he was telling Anakin the power to save Padme.
Yes.
He's going to show him a power.
um what really kind of hit me though is again the voice acting for one, because that actor is great and he handled Corin's inner thoughts, because the book is very different than a lot of the other books as far as how it's written, because you're only getting it from his perspective. So a lot of other Star Wars books usually kind of like, okay, this is Leia's perspective and this is
Yep.
Luke's
Jump
perspective.
around a little bit.
Brown, it's literally like a a first person perspective of the entire event. So you hear Corin's inner turmoil, and it hit me harder because I am now married. I was not married when I read this the first time. Granted, I'm also getting the impact of the acting of the voice actors, so that kind of makes you kind of just
Sure.
feel the weight
And
of things
oh,
more. But just the trauma of just all of a sudden suddenly realizing your wife is gone, and before his mission, the reason why she goes on this kind of mission, at least he guilts himself into thinking this, is that she wanted to have kids, and he was like hesitant because of the world they're in, like the war torn world,
yeah.
and he made a thing like, well, after we take care of these pirate organization, maybe we'll talk about it. So he thinks that because that he said that, she went on this mission to help end the pirate organization. So he blames
And now she's
himself.
gone. Yeah.
Now she's gone. So the whole thing is like him going to the academy, learning. You learn like some, you learn the fact that Corellian Jedi's have a hard time doing telekinesis, like just like something they are incapable of doing. But he trains with,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It's just like
Certain, well, like certain races, certain species of aliens had kind of different connections to the Force,
sure,
right?
exactly, yep. But what was unique about the overall story is that it's about Corin going to the academy and watching his perspective alongside the book, The Jedi Academy by Kevin J. Anderson. So
Oh,
he's
really?
he's there during it, and it's like his perspective of them facing Exar Kun, his role in fighting Exar Kun, and how he. But then he also adds in how he disagrees with Luke and all this stuff. It's like it's really interesting because he comes from such a structured, like he was like all gung ho for going to academy, and Luke was just like, this is just a cool place to hang out and you just learn. Like that's how Luke kind of trains in the book. And like
Yeah.
I was listening to it, like Luke wasn't that great initially as a trainer. He was really bad. Like he just didn't know
He
how
didn't
to
know what he
really.
was doing.
He had no idea, and it's like it was just seeing that again now with perspective what we've seen Luke as in the canon books, my modern day take on it, and just it it made it actually the same. Like you almost thought he was very wrong with a lot of his thoughts, but he really focused on the certain point of view in this book a lot with Luke and Corin. They always were at odds as far as their viewpoints, but they never really hated each other. They just they always looked at things differently, and they really
Sure,
focused on
sure.
that. So,
Interesting.
but go ahead. I want
That
you
is
to
really interesting.
chime in.
Well, I want to say, okay, I'm getting glimmers of like why Luke is the way he is in The Last Jedi. There's that, like, you had a Jedi Academy and it failed. And
Kind
why
of
did it fail? He wasn't a good teacher.
no.
Like, he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't
He
know how to teach other Jedi. It's interesting to think like that. We and if like in the Jedi Academy books, which, if, correct me if I'm wrong, those are like from Jason Jaina's perspective,
no.
right?
That's young Jedi Knights, Jedi Academy
Which one
books.
is the
So there's
whose
the
perspective is that from?
that's from the young Jedi books. Young Jedi Knight books are from Jaina and Jason. This is way before that, the Jedi Academy book. So it's like Jedi Academy, Jedi Search, and then I think the third. I don't remember the name of the third one. This is like the very beginning of the Academy.
So it's interesting though that you have that kind of like two-way looking at the same event from two different perspectives like
Hmm.
that. That's
Yeah,
really interesting. So did that really like put it in the other books like in context for you, or like did you're like want to go back and read that section again?
I don't think I think it's presented in a way in this book where I didn't need to read it again because like it hints at enough stuff and
Kind of
reminds you.
recaps it. Yeah.
That's I guess my only, maybe I don't even consider it a complaint. I almost think it relies a little bit too much on that part of the story to like fill it fills up a lot of this book. Where like
Sure.
eventually, after the whole events with Exar Kun, however you want to call him, where Corin he's always put in positions where he's not really there. So like you're seeing him like, oh, I can't do the thing that happened in the Jedi Academy books because Corin was over here. Like it just sort of like sort of always
He's
puts him in.
hamstrung.
But
Yes, they're
but
trying to figure out how to get him from A to B.
but what was great was just his interactions with Luke, his interactions with Mara because he got really connected with her. Where in the Jedi
Hmm.
Academy books, like Mara was just kind of there and gone. Like she didn't really do much. Where here they kind of gave her more of a role. And
Sure.
but then when he breaks away, it just makes kind of sense. So in the book, there's a young Jedi who's really good at the Force. His name is Kip Doran, and he eventually
Mhm.
gets corrupted by Exar Kun, goes to the dark side, takes this crazy ship thing called the Shun Crusher, and goes and he just goes nuts and he kills a whole like planetary system of Imperials. Which, think about it, is that a bad thing? But it really is kind of bad because he just kind of murdered a bunch of people. But he
Yeah.
was influenced by this Dark Lord of the Sith, and the aftermath is that he's just like, oh, slap on the wrist. You're still a Jedi. You were corrupted. It's okay. And like Corin hates this. Like he can't stand the fact that there's no repercussions and or any
Yeah.
of that stuff. It's just sort of like, Bob, you're just gonna be a Jedi now, and you're gonna work for your
Don't do that again.
yeah. So, but he was a kid. He's like a six. It's like having like a going to the juvie or something like that. I guess if you think about it, it's just this like young kid,
Sure.
but doing mass murder.
And that's like, okay, yeah. No, it's not a good idea to give a slap on the wrist to the equivalent of a
Sure,
mass murderer,
but it's a philosophical
even
debate.
if he is a teenager.
It's there's a debate there. Like it's
Mm.
And Luke has a perspective. Corrin has. They eventually come to terms in the end of the book, and it makes sense. But I don't want to spend too much time on that. But what I love about it, it takes that untrained person. Though what's weird, he's untrained as a Jedi, but he's very trained at being undercover in Corsac. So he has this weird, like, dual kind of perspective of how to handle situations. So like there's a point where he just kind of pushes the Jedi part away because he's just so used to doing the non-Jedi things. But then it's all comes down
It's
to
like
him finding a way to merge it and become a different person. That's the whole like gist of it when he starts to go
he's kind of.
undercover.
It sounds like he's more of like a cop, like
Yes.
the Corsac, like, and that attitude and that kind of like investigative nature
Yep.
of like sounds like a detective type of thing. Where you're saying like he's sneaking around, he knows how to investigate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, um, yeah, and the Jedi part of him, it sounds like, is this uncontrolled thing, kind of like an emotional almost thing that he's trying to like learn how to master. But yeah, melding the two is what makes him like the unique character he is.
That's kind of like
Would that be?
the end game of the book. It takes forever for him to come to those terms and actually like because he does a little side trip where he goes back to his grandpa and he gets like information about his heritage. He learns about his actual grandfather and learns about all that information. And he calls himself Kieran Halcyon throughout most of the book because they wanted to pretend he was somebody else so that it didn't because Corin Horn is a well-known person at this point, so they decided for the academy that they would call him a different name so it wouldn't make the other students feel like he had special
Yeah,
treatment or whatever is the
sure.
whole thing. But Halcyon is the name of his grandpa, and he starts learning about how his grandpa died because he gets all this. He gets the he found his lightsaber in the X-wing book, so he had his grandpa's lightsaber, but he
Mm.
gets the rest of the stuff from his like I guess his like adopted grandpa when he goes back to Corellia, and he just kind of gets his heritage and so forth. But when he infiltrates the pirates, he literally is infiltrating them for like years. Like he's like as a Jedi and Corsac trying to find his wife. It takes like years to find his wife. It feels like he's with maybe a year or months. Like it just feels like if he's just with them
But he went like
forever.
deep cover.
Yeah, and he has to work with not great people, and he finds ways to like convince them and make it like a tactical advantage to stun things and like trick them into thinking that we don't want to kill them, we want to stun them. It will slow them down. He has to like fight against his own like, against Rogue Squadron at one point, and he has to do it in a way so he can't kill them because he gets in like a squad of this Imperial that is actually that is running this whole show. You find out that you can't find her ship because she's using this sect of Jedi that was an offshoot of the Jedi called the Jakai or I don't remember the name, but they're
Oh,
yeah, like there's a whole offshoot that just like disassociated themselves from the Jedi because they found Sith teaching, but they took the Sith teaching and made it more of a Jedi teaching. It's like there's just a lot of stuff that goes on in this book that's really
you're
neat
trying
and
to like
cool.
hybrid Jedi and Sith? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah, like it's like oh,
interesting?
they were like well, what happened is that in the end, this is kind of jumping a little
Isn't that
bit.
what isn't that what Jason Solo tried to do?
Kind
And
of,
what does
you're
it
right.
always end up being? Is
But
that it corrupts.
sure. But what happened with this one is that their masters were the one that were getting corrupted, but they died before they can kind of filter it back down to this offshoot group. So they were still kind of good. Like they never like got too corrupted that
They're Assange Ventress.
yeah.
They're like
It's like
they got they were apprentice for this long, and
Mhm.
then yep, before they were even told they were apprentices.
But it just was just kind of like neat like going through this book again, getting like a more mature perspective of it
It's
and
interesting.
like
Yes.
just the story of of a Jedi that went to Luke's academy. So it's like taking Luke out of the picture. Eventually, Luke shows up at the end, and they kind of like tag team. Luke's like, I had a vision that I was going to come help you. I part of me initially when I re-listened to it, it's like, oh come on, I wanted Corrin to do with this himself. Like I wanted him to have his own thing. But
Yeah.
then it actually kind of made sense when they actually did the thing. Like Luke should have been there. I think it was a good resolution when it all was said and done. when they actually
Sure.
save Mirrex and
Probably
find her and all that
more of
stuff.
a character choice, yeah.
Yeah, I just because Luke still Corin still had his moment. He still had his thing that he could do because he learned that his biggest trait was he could project things to people and make them think things are happening that are actually weren't. Like that was his like force ability, if you want to call it that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so like
telepathy of
kind of
some kind.
yeah. So I just wanted to share my like re love of this. I just even have more questions about it, but I just thought it was such a interesting take, which I wish we got this as like a movie or something like it, like a different Jedi. It's all about one Jedi. Maybe Luke's in the movie as like a side character, and he breaks away because Luke, and even in the current canon, there was an academy at one point, so it'd be cool to see like a Jedi that's not fully trained as a Jedi going into like pirates and pretending to be a pirate. How do you keep yourself following a Jedi code? Because he gets to points where he has to like he gets rivals and he has to like show that he can beat this rival, and he has to like kind of reduce his temptation. Like he almost even falls for the main person, the main bad admiral. It's a lady, like she's like very seductive and whatnot. Like he gets almost tempted by her based on just the nature of how things are, and the fact that he's been away from his wife for like years and years and years, or month, whatever. I can't remember the time frame, but I don't know. I thought it was a very good reread.
Sexy Imperial, not like Dedra, right? Uh, professional frowner. Um, so it's really interesting. It's interesting stuff. I want, honestly, this is the kind of stuff that they should have made into movies. Like they should have just taken the expanded universe and paid these people what they owe them for their to like for adaptation rights
Yeah.
and turn these things into movies because there was a while there that we thought maybe we might get sequels, but it was
Hmm.
really too long. And then we were going to get prequels instead. So we were stoked for that. And so it was like, I would still like to see movies in the modern era. Like, what happens after? Like, I want to see what happens with the New Republic and, like, see the new Academy and how do they rebuild the Order. I want to just see the Jedi Order, like what that would look like.
I mean, you saw them rebuild the
And
Academy in Book of Boba Fett. You saw him put the rocks up, and
I couldn't even remember where that was, like in the Book of Boba Fett. I'm like, oh yes, the rocks. Um, but yeah, wow, that really just blasted what I was saying right out of my head. I don't know
sorry,
what the
I'm
hell I was
sorry to
talking
ruin
about.
it for you, but
The
no, no,
Book of Boba Fett. I don't remember a thing about that show.
that's funny.
Another waste of time. But no, this was the kind of thing that we hoped to get, which is why I liked it, and I know that you have an appreciation for it. Is Rogue One because of that
Sure.
kind of interesting story, um, but more seedy underground, more of like the stories that are on the periphery of the main characters and
Well,
not just the main characters.
this is I thought we would be good to talk about this book because we did talk about Andor recently and our take on that. But then I also had made a comment about it. It's like, okay, how can we make good shows that focus on Jedi? Because I do love Jedi. I want to have a show that is revered like Andor, but is about a Jedi. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to have that show.
That could be, yeah, that's the pathway right
Like
there
I
if you
thought
do
this
that
could be a
way.
good. I mean, obviously, don't cut it. Obviously, there's a lot of like background information about Murex and him meeting Murex, and you get that build up in other books. Not this book; they're already together, so the sense of loss is built up in the X-wing series. I thought we are going to get the X-wing, an X-wing type show at one point, but that never happened. But I don't know. I would love to see. It made me really kind of understand that I really want to see a Jedi movie that is about a unique Jedi that we don't know much about and learn about and get to know. Like
Yep.
I really think that would be good because like even all the live action, we kind of they tried a little bit with the acolyte. We don't have to go on that. I'm just saying they did try to give us new Jedi to learn about, but it's
Sure.
I
And
think you
whose
need
last name is not Palpatine. Yes.
and I think you need another like just a single story like a solo journey Jedi show, like it not one where yeah there's other Jedi in this book because he goes to the academy, but like just the idea of like you could start the movie off with him just going off to look for his wife, and then you learn about other things why he's on this whatever adventure to find his wife or lost ones or family or whatever you want to call it. But I
And that could
just
be how you reveal the Jedi Academy too, is him joining the academy and
sure
seeing it through his eyes.
yeah no I just
Like it's there's a lot of potential there. And we can talk till we're blue in the face about
sure
how Disney just took these great, some of them, let's be honest, some of them weren't great, but a lot of great ideas and great writers put some really interesting
sure
ideas out there.
this is
And it was literally like, here are some treasures for you to pick
yep
from. And they
yep.
were like, no thanks.
So what I would say is, if I've always even thought of this before Disney took over, because I just thought Luke and Carrie Fisher, like Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, all them, they're too old to ever do these stories.
Yeah,
And
the
I'm like,
kind of stories we want to see.
I
Yeah,
always just wanted an animated show. Let Mark Hamill voice act because that would have been a great, like I mean, back in the day, like I'm thinking like before Disney took over, like make it animated and just retell us these books in an animation. Just do it. It's not. You could do it now. It could still happen.
they could.
Just
There's no reason why they couldn't. They own the
they've
rights.
been re-releasing all these books with new cover art. It's like just do animated legends. Just do that. Let's go.
Don't worry, they'll find a way to milk it. Don't worry. When the well runs dry on these like fan
Sure.
servicey stuff that they've been doing, when that runs dry, which it already has long ago, they'll start poaching from other sectors. But I want to see. I would honestly have liked to see. I would like to see a High Republic show, like one that is based on those books,
Oh,
not
like
just like set in
gotcha.
that era. I want to see those. I think that those would make some great stories, some great, whether you do a series, that first book is excellent too.
Yeah. No, it's great.
It introduces so many compelling characters that are so vivid
Mm-hmm.
and paints um Republic as like an actual force, almost like the Federation in Star Trek, like the purpose for why it exists. It's to bring people together. It's to like protect each other.
We
You
are the
know,
Republic.
yeah, like it was a really good idea. I feel like that's a good blueprint for a film series if they were going to do that, or just a television series. But
Maybe. But well, thank you for listening.
yeah,
I highly recommend if you ever want to get into Legends. This is like not just me, but like
would you
a lot of people revere this book too. So
would you say it's a good entry point for people, or would you say this is something like if you've got a few of these under your belt, this is where you
it's
need to go?
hard. I feel like you need to read the X-wing books first. To
Okay.
really get at least the first four because there's a huge plethora of X-wing books, but like after the fourth one, it goes to a different author, which is a whole other. That's Wraith Squadron, where the first four is Rogue Squadron. So like, there's different characters in the five,
Well,
six, and eight.
maybe we should talk about those first four X-wing books sometime.
Sure.
Maybe that could be just like a give us a rundown. It sounds like it's probably a pretty big but connected storyline. So maybe we could just
Man,
yeah, fill
we
us in
could
so
maybe
that
do.
way we have the background. I can understand this a little
I
bit
got
more.
book one right here.
Ooh.
I love the cover art for these books, by the way. They're awesome.
Wasn't the second one like Wedge's
Yeah,
Gamble or
that's like the
something?
only one you remember too. It's yeah, it's Rogue.
Shush.
It's Rogue Squadron,
It's
Wedge's
true.
Gamble. Oh God, I can't.
Truce at Bakura.
I think it's wait. No, that's not X-wing. Oh
Oh,
man, the last one is the Back to War. That's what because they have to like after they take over
oh.
Coruscant, they have to like go take the planet that hoards all the Bacta. They have to get it back from the
Oh,
Empire. So That
Okay.
yeah, but
Backdoor.
I think it's oh man, the third one. Oh, can I see it from here? Can I see it? It is
The Star Wars is checking his references.
it's the Kryptos trap. It's a trap. It's a trap.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
But yeah, so
Well,
yeah,
this
maybe
is fun.
someday we can go over those books as well. I would love to
Yes,
reread
I
those.
would like to. I would like to learn a little bit more because I know some of these books, but there's a lot of them I do not know anything about.
Yeah,
But yeah, we could probably mine this for good storytelling here for Star Wars, and some noble-minded youngster will start writing the next Star Wars movie based on
yeah.
having listened to
There's
this.
some
So
great books out there in Legends, but just be wary. There's some bad ones.
beware, tread lightly. All
But
right,
all
and
right.
this has been fun.
This is playing favorites. If you like this show, like, subscribe, give us a comment. Have you read the I Jedi at all? If you're new to our show and you like Star Wars, let us know what your favorite Legends book, and maybe we'll talk about that because I've read a lot of them.
Too. Yes, this has been Paul, and this has been very fun. Let's do it again sometime.
All right, bye bye. May the force be with you.
Bye. Oh, bye.